No! Victor! No! Let me out! Please, you can't do.
The movie begins with Alicia buried in a coffin, crying at the top of her lungs for help. But she is buried, and no one can hear her voice. Exactly 2 days before this, Alicia finishes her shift and is informed by her friend Joe that there was a system error, so her pay is a little late. Alicia moved to this town and changed her name, which could be the reason for the delay in her paycheck. Joe is curious about why she changed her name.
Why you had to change your name?
But Alicia laughs it off and refuses to tell her anything. As a good friend, Joe offers her some money until the paycheck arrives and also wants to lighten the burden of secrets that are bothering Alicia. But Alicia smiles and refuses the offer, not wanting to share her past. Alicia is not in a relationship, and Joe knows a nice man in her family wants to remarry, so she wants Alicia to meet him on a date that same night. Alicia does not respond to her offer and leaves the changing room, saying she has to pick up her son Malcom as she is running late. Dog is working in his garage when he is shocked to see Victor in front of him. Victor was supposed to serve 15 years in prison but is surprisingly free after just 8 years. He shares that he was released due to good behavior, as is now a changed man. He looks around, astonished to see that Dog is pretty settled in his life, and picks up a golf club from a corner. Then he demands the money that Dog took from the robbery.
You lost all the money, you lost all.
Dog pleads with him to calm down, and then suddenly Victor notices the brand new truck in front of Dog's house, which makes him change his mind. Meanwhile, Alicia goes to pick up Malcom, but he is not there and is not responding to any phone calls either. Alicia talks to her sister Camlyn, who tells her to calm down, as Malcom is probably off playing with his friends. Alicia eventually finds Malcom playing with his friends a few blocks away, scolds him and his friends for playing in a nasty place, and takes him with her in the car. Victor goes inside the house for a while, picks up all the expensive jewelry that belongs to Dog and his wife, and gets into the truck. Dog pleads with him to leave the diamond bracelet that belongs to his wife, but Victor does not listen. He reminds Dog that all these years he never mentioned Dog's name to the police, so he deserves to have these expensive things, and leaves with the jewelry and Dog's truck. Meanwhile, Alicia scolds Malcom for not answering her calls or responding to her messages.
It's embarrassing.
She gets worried when he doesn't tell her his location. Malcom responds that she calls him every minute, which embarrasses him in front of his friends, so he turned off his phone. He looks at his friends, whose dad allows them to go anywhere alone. But Alicia gets angry and reminds him that his dad ran off, so she has to take care of him as best as she can. Victor secretly follows Camlyn and approaches her car when she stops to listen to someone. At the same time, Alicia brings a pair of new sneakers for Malcom, and he gets excited to see them. Alicia explains that it's a little gift because she felt bad about their heated argument a few days ago. But just as Malcom looks inside the shoe, he discovers a small circular device secretly installed to track the location of the person wearing it.
Do you think I'm stupid?
Malcom frowns, but Alicia tries to reason with him, saying she just wants his safety in this dangerous world. However, Malcom now hates the sneakers and throws them aside. The next day, Joe looks at the slightly tense Alicia and jokes about her behaving this way because she hasn't been in a relationship for a while. Joe tells her that she will wait for her reply because she wants her to date her cousin. During lunch break, Alicia receives a call from a new number. It's her sister Camlyn, who tells her that she recently lost her phone. Alicia shares that Joe wants her to meet someone, but she is not ready yet. At the same time, Malcom plays with his friends on a basketball court when Victor watches him from the outer fence. After a while, Malcom comes near him to get the ball, and Victor stops him. He shows Malcom a picture of their family when he was quite young and tells him that he is his dad.
Malcom, I'm your father.
Malcom becomes super happy as he misses his dad badly and takes him home. When Alicia returns, she is stunned to see Victor sitting in their home with Malcom. They look super happy playing games on the console that Victor just bought him. Alicia can't breathe for a moment, terrified of this man. She excuses herself and goes to the kitchen to process the situation while Victor follows her. He tells her that he is no longer an abusive husband, as 8 years in prison have changed him. Alicia can't believe he was released from jail so soon. Victor explains that even though she changed her surname, he managed to find her through her sister. He admits it was him who stole her phone and returns it to her to give back to Camlin. Alicia cries out of fear, and Victor insists that he is no longer the man who cared about being the best gangster in town. He has changed and wants to prove it. All he thought about in prison was his family, and he wants a fresh start. He insists that she get ready for dinner with him and Malcom. Alicia excuses herself to change for dinner.
He found us. What?
Amid tears, she calls Camlin to tell her that Victor is back and that he managed to find her through Camlin's phone. She is terrified, knowing that Victor is a dangerous man who will likely abuse her sooner rather than later.
Act nice, but he isn't.
Before Camlin can tell her what to do, Alicia hangs up as Victor knocks on the bathroom door, urging her to hurry.
I'm coming!
In tears, Alicia changes her dress, and a few hours later, they are sitting in a restaurant. Victor reminds her that she was unbelievably attractive when they first met. Alicia responds that she was 16 and made a mistake. Victor thanks Malcom for raising their son to be a fine man and promises that he will take care of the family in the coming years. He reminds Alicia that the last time he saw her, he put a knife to her neck, and she ended up in the ER. She no longer believes him. Malcom returns from the bathroom and happily joins his freshly reunited parents. At the end of dinner, Victor drops Alicia and Malcom off at their home and mentions that he is staying at a hotel. He says he can come inside if she wants, but Alicia tells him they should take things slowly in their relationship, even though she is secretly terrified and wants to get rid of him as soon as possible. However, Victor makes plans for the next day with Malcom before leaving. As Alicia shuts the door, she silently cries and tells Malcom to grab what is necessary because they are running away as quickly as possible. Malcom doesn't believe that Dad can hurt them and argues against running away. But Alicia scolds him, packs her bag, and drags it out of the house quickly. But unfortunately, Victor was already suspicious that Alicia might disappear on him again. So he never went to the hotel. He forcibly asks her to go on a long drive with him, or he will hurt Malcom. He shows her the gun, and Alicia remains silent when Malcom asks where they are going. Telling him that they are going to discuss how things will work out between them, Victor puts him in the car and drives away. He stops in his hotel room and tortures her for lying about meeting him tomorrow while she was running away. He threatens her that it will be her last chance if she tries to deceive him and run away. Victor shares that he was receiving medication and therapy in jail and is now a changed man. However, he looks furious at the fact that Alicia was the one who told the police about him. He fights the strong urge to hit her and threatens that he can do anything if she ever tries to escape with her son.
I promise you, I promise.
Just kidnapped me!
He looks terribly angry, staring at Alicia as if she is his possession.
You are my wife, you belong to me.
In that moment, Alicia manages to grab a knife and stabs it into Victor's arm. It doesn't hurt him much, and he ties her arms before leaving to get something useful outside. As he throws her suitcase, he notices a wooden box. After a while, Victor returns to Malcom and asks him for the phone. He throws the phone away, grabs a shovel, and walks off. Meanwhile, Camlin constantly tries to reach Alicia. Victor returns to the hotel room and informs her that he is taking her away somewhere. He puts the knife to her neck in anger, and as he looks away, Alicia opens the car door and jumps out. She tries to run away, but Victor catches her quickly. He ties her hands again and starts digging a hole the size of a wooden coffin. After placing the coffin inside, he tells Alicia to get out of the car. He always felt left out and buried in jail, and now he will actually bury her alive in the coffin.
Wait, no! Victor!
He puts her in the coffin, and despite her cries and pleas, he closes it with nails and puts soil on top. Alicia tries to hear any voices outside, but it seems she is alone and helpless, and Victor is gone. No one hears her when she shouts for help.
Help me!
Meanwhile, heavy rain begins, and Victor stops his truck in front of another truck that's blocking his way. An old man appears and points a gun at Victor as he is on his property. The old man wants Victor to walk with him and explain what he is doing there. Victor cunningly manages to get his hands on a hammer and hits the old man with it. He doesn't stop and stabs him several times until he is dead. Meanwhile, Alicia tries to look inside the coffin through the small light from her keychain. Camlin reaches Malcom and tells him to quickly get ready to leave with her, as his father is a crazy man who will soon hurt him. In the meantime, Victor enters.
What are you doing?
Malcom, let me.
and angrily slaps Camlin so hard that she falls unconscious. Now Malcom senses that his dad is a dangerous man and has done something to his mom. Victor quickly goes inside Alicia's room and searches for the bracelet he gave her the same day. He finds it in the drawer and asks Malcom to get ready to go with him. Malcom tries to bring his aunt back to consciousness, but she is still senseless. He asks his dad if he can wear shoes since it's raining and puts on the new shoes with the tracker. At the same time, Alicia searches for a weak spot in the coffin and scratches at it with her keychain. Camlin regains her senses and calls for Alicia, but Victor has her phone. Joe is also texting Alicia, and an annoyed Victor tells Malcom to write a rude response to Alicia's friend. On the other hand, as the hole gets bigger, Alicia manages to get her fingers inside and breaks a smaller part of the wooden piece. Malcom tells his dad that he is hungry, and they stop by a restaurant. He begins coloring the sheets with crayons on the table. Meanwhile, Alicia removes the wooden piece from coffin. Victor shows the diamond bracelet to his son and shares the plan that they will sell it to settle into a new home. Meanwhile, Alicia clears most of the soil from the top of the coffin. Malcom smartly writes on the back of a paper, "Help me," when Victor looks away. But he stops Malcom just as he is about to hand the paper to the waitress, having noticed that he is writing something. Alicia gets stuck in the mud and rainwater, struggling to get out. After a huge effort, she drags herself to the surface. She runs to seek help and finds the vehicle of the old man Victor just killed. She quickly gets into the truck and rushes toward Joe's home, as it is the nearest. Seeing Alicia in such a miserable situation, Joe hears her story and is terrified that Alicia is handling all of this alone. Alicia grabs Joe's phone and calls her own phone. Victor picks up the call, surprised to hear Alicia's voice. It's unbelievable that she got out of the coffin. She wants to hear Malcom's voice to know if he is okay. Malcom quickly tells her that he is fine and wearing the shoes she gave him recently. Victor hangs up the call, breaking the connection. On the other hand, Alicia realizes she can track her son through the shoe tracker and turns on the computer to connect to it. She soon discovers his location and runs to follow them. When Joe returns with the first aid kit, Alicia is gone, but her computer shows the location of Malcom. Joe calls the police to inform them that her friend is in danger. A few hours later, Alicia reaches the location where the tracker stopped. Victor has already guessed that something was up with the shoes Malcom mentioned in the call, so he removed them and threw them in front of Alicia while searching for her son. Victor has tied Malcom's hands, and when Alicia arrives, they fight and she stabs Victor with the knife from his pocket and runs away. Victor follows her with the gun in hand, and suddenly Alicia falls down. She twists her ankle and cannot run, but she limps toward a nearby building, which is a church. She enters and locks the door just before Victor gets in. She searches for her phone to call the police, but Victor finds her and shoots at her through the window, then climbs inside the church through the broken window. Alicia hides behind a table but makes a slight noise that alerts him. He turns and sees her, but she hits him with a metal vase. Victor is so strong that it doesn't hurt him, so he points his gun at her, but there are no bullets left. He tries to fire multiple times but fails. At that moment, Malcom frees his hands using car keys and runs to find his mom. Meanwhile, police surround the church and ask Victor to come outside without his weapon. Victor shows himself at the front door with the gun, and the police open fire. He dies there, and in tears, Alicia hugs her son. A few months later, Alicia gets ready for a date. She is happy to meet the new guy Joe has been talking about, and the movie ends here. If you like this movie, then don't forget to subscribe the channel.